The importance of Clone Wars that cannot be understated is that it was the last huge expansion of the Star Wars universe that came directly from George Lucas.
We were able to take it in directions that had never been done before.
You really got to see a lot of the things that they hinted at in the prequel movies but didn't really get to explore.
Because it came from George, it's so tapped into the history of cinema and the stuff that inspired him.
He got more and more interested in pushing the limits of that and seeing, almost what could break it. Can you guys do a giant Godzilla-sized creature, Zilla Beast? Okay, great. Can you guys do a zombie film? Can you guys do a Hitchcock-style film? Can you do Seven Samurai in 22 minutes?
The only way we'd feel comfortable telling a story about Yoda exploring the really trippy sides of the Force is if that got the blessing from George. In the same way, this new material that we're developing with Clone Wars makes some profound statements about characters like Darth Maul and Ventress.
The stories were there. They were written. Some of them were completely designed by Killian's design team. Some of them were shot. They just weren't animated and lit.
Even though those Clone Wars episodes did not get publicly revealed, we still look at their core stories as having happened.
Kiri Hart was immediately asking me almost, how could we find a way to put these out? What if we did the Darth Maul story as a comic book with Dark Horse Comics?
How Darth Maul ends up in Clone Wars, to me, is really interesting because we were able to give him that kind of emotional depth that we were never able to see in the movie.
My hatred kept my spirit intact even though my body was not.
Darth Maul has always been such a great fit for comic books. He's such a physical character, a menacing character, someone that you really want to see in action.
It was one of the arcs that I really believed in, and I felt like there was a lot of story there to be able to tell. It wasn't just evil versus evil. It was like someone that we respected versus some characters that, as bad as they are, we still love watching them in action and kind of scheming and their machinations against one another.
It's not so much as to where he goes next, it's now you finally understand why this all happened. Now you understand that there was a reason for Maul's resurrection.
It's a really important part of Darth Maul's story. It's a really important part of Mother Talzin's story.
We were able to fully flesh out what Maul was, what his motivation was. It was extremely challenging, but I think overall we were very happy with the way it turned out. The Utapau Arc actually was another one of these interesting arcs.
It's a different thing to watch proxy animation, but it really is kind of the closest that you'll be to experiencing what it's like to be George Lucas and say, watch that and see what you think.
What you're seeing is a work in progress, and some people quickly get that idea, and others, it takes a little bit getting used to.
That was actually one of the arcs that we really wanted to capture kind of the spirit of the original trilogy in the prequel era and see Obi-Wan and Anakin working together in a way that, when we do see it, it's always special and it's always fun and really defines what the Clone Wars is about at its core.
It's some of the best performance from Matt Lanter and James Arnold Taylor as Obi-Wan and Anakin that you don't want to lose that by adapting it to a format where you can't hear those performances.
I'll contact Ahsoka. Maybe she can...
Anakin?
Forget about it. She's gone.
It was really important that we address the Ahsoka issue and to show that Obi-Wan was there for Anakin when he needed it, and that Anakin ultimately opened up to Obi-Wan about how he really felt in her leaving.
Utapau is a fantastic environment that, on the surface you think it only exists to fit a particular purpose in Episode 3, but I think George was particularly enamored with Utapau, and its story is not done yet. This is what's great about StarWars.com. We know we have a built-in audience that is willing to overlook the unfinishedness of it if it means that this is an opportunity to understand what that story was.
I've always wanted to do a novel starring Ventress. I think she's a fascinating character. I love to watch her.
Ventress?
It looks like I'm here to rescue you.
When did you become the good guy?
Don't insult me.
We had written several scripts for her story. The next one was one where she was going to cross over with Quinlan Vos.
She's really unlike any other Jedi she's ever encountered before, and someone who, in a way, shares some more qualities with her than with his fellow Jedi.
An author could take some of these ideas, very complex ideas around Ventress and her character, and just expand on these ideas in an intricate way that I was never going to have time to do on a TV series.
It has kind of all of the classic elements of Star Wars that we would come to expect with, love and betrayal and sadness, revenge.
We hired Christy Golden to write the novel. Through our discussions with Christy about it, she brought a lot of great ideas to the table.
And then we work with Story Group and with Dave ultimately to see if those additions make sense.
Those stories were some of my favorite stories to be able to tell. And I think that you're going to be able to tell it in a way that you can add all sorts of elements that we weren't able to do in the script.
Just for the pure psychology of that character and the psychology of Quinlan Vos, I think is going to be super exciting. These 3 stories offer a really nice variety. I mean, Maul is sort of arch-villainy and grandiose battle plans in action. The Ventress Vos arc has super intense character interaction between the two of them. And the Utapau story is just old-fashioned Star Wars adventurism.
You're just grateful at a certain point that other people want to tell these stories. You feel honored that other people feel they're worth telling.
We're in this point in Star Wars history, which is a great place to be in, but it comes with its own set of challenges, where we're on the cusp of telling all these new stories and having them really be integral to the canon as we're going forward.
We're very careful in the steps we're taking. We're not moving too fast. We're making sure that everything meshes, not only from a continuity standpoint, but from a sensibility standpoint as well.
The one thing you need are good stories to tell, and thanks to the legacy that George left us, we have many, many, many good stories that hopefully the audience will get to see.